Hey guys, it's Saturday. You know what that means. It's time for some more D&D. Alright, so last week I talked a bit about the dice and kind of alluded to that the next step would be to talk about the math, and that's partially true. We're actually going to talk about a broader subject today, and that is the ability scores. But what do I mean by ability scores? Well, so as far as Dungeons & Dragons is concerned, the things that makes a character is about 4 different parts. The first are the 6 ability scores. The second is the race. The third is the class. And the fourth is the background, which is these 5 sentences I have written up here. Put those things together, you have a Dungeons & Dragons character sheet. Focus. No? Okay. Anyways, the big point that we're going to talk about today is part 1, the 6 ability scores. There are 6. Why 6? I don't know. 6 was just a good number. So we have strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. These are all different aspects that determine a person being good at certain things. It's important to think about the 6 ability scores as 6 parts of one whole. You need all 6 in order to fully determine what a character is really good at. And the best way to describe what these all mean is with metaphor. And I have a great metaphor using only tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes. So strength would be your ability to crush a tomato in bare hands. Dexterity would be your ability to throw a tomato or dodge a tomato thrown at you. Constitution would be your ability to eat a spoiled tomato. Please don't try this at home. Intelligence is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put a tomato in your fruit salad. And charisma would be your ability to sell said tomato-based fruit salad to an unsuspecting buyer. Although if you ask me, a tomato-based fruit salad is just a salsa, so you can come buy my special brand available. But to get back on track, these 6 ability scores tend to be a number between 1 and 20. I put the ability score in the small oval on this character sheet. I know it's going to start a fight with some people, but I have my reasons. This number, the ability score, is determined through a number of means. The most traditional method of getting your ability scores is to take 3d6s and roll them. Yep, that's one score. The problem with this is that you might wind up with a character that sucks at everything. How do you mitigate this? Well, over the years, we've developed the actual ability score rolling method, which is 4d6 and drop the lowest roll. For example, right here, we would actually drop the 4, leaving a 5, a 5, and a 6. So your ability score is 16. Good example. And this works. And you just do that for all 6 of your ability scores and determine where they go. Now, traditionally, you would roll these stats in order, starting with strength and ending with charisma. We don't have to do that anymore. These days, we just roll the 6 stats and determine where we want to put them based on what kind of character we want to make. But if you really want to kind of work with what you've got, there's a method I'd recommend. Just roll them in order. See what you get. All right, so what's the point of those numbers then? Well, honestly, the point of these numbers, is to actually give you the other number, the plus or minus number you see on the character sheet. Because the ability score is nice, but the ability modifier is the thing you use for all of your dice rolls. Like if you need to make a dexterity check, well, you aren't going to be doing much of that 16, but you are going to be using that plus 3. And how do we get that plus 3? Well, there's a chart on page 13 of the Player's Handbook, which tells you what all these numbers mean. And they're all based on one assumption, that a 10 is basically what an average person can do. So 10 means 0. I should clarify that that does not mean that a 10 is the stats given to an NPC across the board. Just that the an untrained NPC would have as their best stat a 10. That's the assumption there. So you've got your 6 ability scores. What do you do with them there? Well, honestly, from there you need to figure out what kind of race and class you need to play, and honestly that's another video topic. You also need to think about your background, and that's yet another video topic. The end result, if you have a good idea or you've figured out what you want to play, is to then get your modifiers and attach those modifiers with your proficiency bonus to any relevant skills. These are all explained in the first chapter of the Player's Handbook on how to do this. That being said, you can have a lot of fun with this and kind of get lost in the weeds as well. But this is not playing the game. This is just making a character to play the game. And so, for that matter, I just recommend keep to the broad strokes. Figure out that you want to play a human sorcerer with a noble background. And then figure out what all that means. You'll wind up with a character sheet that looks kind of like this. Hello, Melina. Alright, and I guess I have to address the elephant in the room as well. There are 2 more methods of getting your ability scores. The first is called the standard array. Now this is where you take an array of scores from 15 to 8 and place them wherever you choose. It's kind of boring and only good if you want to make balanced characters. I, as a DM, don't like balanced characters because I don't think balanced characters are fun. But that's not saying that's a wrong way to do that. That's just saying that that's not my preference. Don't at me because you think I'm doing it wrong. If everyone's having fun, you're doing it right. Now, the other method, which also leads to balanced characters, is point buy, which is kind of clunky when you throw that onto a new player's lap. So, if you're new and your DM requires point buy, here's a little trick. The standard array is point buy legal. And that's the video for this week. If you liked it, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below, about things you liked, disliked, or whatever. Be sure to share that on social media so that other people can see this. And, this week we're going to do something fun. Here's Brenner Battlehammer. His face is going to have the subscribe link, and to the left we're going to have the first video in my D&D series, and to the right we're going to have, YouTube's going to decide. Alright, so click one of those, and I'll see you next week. Bye.